Hello everybody, welcome to Super Meat Boy. This is a game that I wanted to play ages ago. Remember when I played normal Meat Boy? That's how long it's been since I wanted to play this game, but I couldn't get my controller to work. And now I've said, just sod it. We're gonna play with keyboard. And I don't know what the run button is. I figured it out, it's shift. The game literally tells you, by the way, when you boot it up, like, don't play on keyboard, use a Xbox controller. But it just doesn't work. For some reason, can't get my controller to work with it. So I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm probably just stupid. But, I don't know, this is what you're getting. I like Meat Boy. I have a weird kind of relationship with this game where I've played the first few levels of Meat Boy so much, like the first 1 to 3 chapters. I played so much of those worlds, but I've actually never beat this game. I've never beat Meat Boy, and I'm not going to beat it today. It's just kind of interesting, because like this feels like Meat Boy to me, but there's so much Meat Boy that I've never seen. I've not even watched like gameplay or anything. I don't know what the later worlds of Meat Boy even look like. And it's kind of interesting to have like, a decent amount of time playing a game that you've just not even seen all of. And I wouldn't say I have like a ridiculous number of hours in Meat Boy, but like I had it on PlayStation, I'm playing it on Steam right now, where I have like half an hour gameplay, which is not a lot, but I had more on the PS4 or whatever. And for some reason I just never got very far in it. I remember unlocking some of the bonus characters. I think Bit Trip Runner is the first one, or Commander or whatever it's called. I think that's like the first one you can unlock. I remember unlocking that guy and be like, this is pretty cool. I know they have the Tofu Boy as a playable character, and he's like really slow and shit, which is kind of funny. Yeah, I just haven't seen all that this game has to offer, and I think I'm going to keep it that way, at least for today. We'll just play through the first world, maybe first couple of worlds, depending on how fast I'm getting through these, and right now I'm getting through them pretty fast. But that could slow down as the levels get more difficult. I do think this game ramps up in difficulty a lot slower than Flash Meat Boy did, like normal Meat Boy. But that kind of makes sense, right? Because Flash Meat Boy was a much shorter game. And I also kind of wonder, like, why did they call the original Meat Boy, right? Because Super Mario World was so influential that you'll often see people title or just Super Nintendo games in general, people often title their games Super, right? They'll often title their games like, it's hard to come up with an example off the top of my head, but you'll just have to trust me. A lot of people name their games Super, which doesn't really leave room to have a super sequel, but Meat Boy was titled Meat Boy and then later given a super sequel, which is the way to do it. If you're gonna have a game, if you're gonna have a platformer, the way to do it is to name it Super. Obviously, I've always said, like, with regards to like the Tori series, we had Tori 3D, now we have Tori Saturn. I've always thought like a Super Tori World, something like that would be. Or then again, you have like Kiwi 64, then became Super Kiwi 64. It's like, how do these devs know that they're going to make super versions of their games later? Because I kind of feel like if I was making Meat Boy, I'd think, the title Meat Boy is maybe a bit too simple. Why don't we call it Super Meat Boy? And there's another aspect to it, right? Where like, I mean, I don't know why I even mentioned Super Mario World, because the first Super Mario Brothers was called Super Mario Brothers. Because Mario Brothers was not a platformer. It was like this arcade game with like the turtles and stuff, and no one's really played it except in the Brawl Masterpieces. I'm pretty sure it's playable there. It would be really funny if instead of doing a Brawl video, I just played like all the masterpieces. But then that kind of brings up a question of, like, if I play the masterpieces from Brawl, am I really playing Brawl, or am I playing multiple different games? You know, if I boot up Sonic Mega Collection, can I play Sonic 1 again? Because I've already played Sonic 1. Alpharad would say yes. Alpharad would say, yeah, I can play Sonic 1 again, because I'm not playing Sonic 1, I'm playing Super Mega Collection. Not Super Mega Collection. Super Mega would be a different thing entirely, you know. Game Grumps Collection. No, Super... what's it called? It's called Mega Collection Plus. Imagine I played Sonic 1 again on Mega Collection. How would you react to that? I feel like I'm trying to be a bit more, like, strict about it and not play that, because, you know, maybe you haven't seen Alpharad Gold, or maybe you haven't seen all of Alpharad Gold, so you don't know about this bit. But there was a bit they did where they played basically a whole week of Mario Bros. 3, and the way they did that was they played, like, Super Mario Bros. 3 on NES, then they played Super Mario All-Stars Mario Bros. 3, which, you know, there's a much more convincing argument for that being a different game. And then they played, like, Super Mario Bros. 3 SP, which is the special, like, Nintendo Switch version where you start at the end of the game and you can just play all the levels. That is just a save file. And it's just a save file. It's not even like a ROM hack or anything. So I don't know if that counts. And then there were a bunch of other versions of Mario Bros. 3 they played, and, like, I feel like if I did that, I'd be pushing the 366 games a bit far if I tried to do that. Which is a shame because, you know, it's a funny bit, but I don't want there to be, like, an asterisk once I'm finished with all of this. Oh, she actually played Super Mario Brothers, you know, 12 times on different versions. I feel like I don't want that asterisk associated with Melon Keeper Gold. And I don't think anyone really holds it against Alpharad. I know some people at the time were like, does this really count? But everyone knows that, like, they're not taking it too seriously anyway. It's just a bit of fun. But I kind of think for my own sake, I would prefer to do it the way I've been doing it, where I'm playing, you know, distinctly different games every time. The one exception I will make to that, I'm saying this now, is Project M is not Brawl. So if I make a Brawl video and a Project M video, those are different games. Is Project M a different game from Project M EX? That's pushing it. I'm not going to try that, but Project M is a distinctly different game from Brawl, and I will not accept any criticism when I upload the Project M video, basically. Now, the other aspect of that would be Minecraft, because I've already said in the Bedrock Edition video that I plan on making a Java Edition video. Is Minecraft Java Edition a different enough game from Minecraft Bedrock Edition? And I think I proved thoroughly in the Bedrock video that it is a different game, because, you know, I played as Shadow the Hedgehog and I hit the griddy. You can't do that in Java Edition, not without mods at least. But that's just like gameplay in Bedrock Edition. That's just like normal, right? So I feel like they're definitely different. And so yeah, the hospital, I think it was the boss fight of the hospital that I wasn't able to beat when I was a kid and I didn't know about the run button. I don't know how I beat this level without the run button. I guess I went from above. Like, you have to get pretty creative to beat these levels without running, but I did do it. As a kid, I did do it. I know you can just jump. You don't... Oh, well, no, you cannot just jump. You can just jump if you're running, and that works. But yeah, for those of you that didn't see the Meat Boy video, I accidentally didn't know about the run button the first time I played this game, so I got like pretty far without it, but eventually I met my maker. And it was the boss of this level, which is like a guy you need to run from. And he's faster than you if you're walking, so it's apparently possible to beat it without running. I remember mentioning this story on a stream once, and someone was like, actually you can beat that guy without running, it's just really hard. And I was like, oh, that's actually really cool. And it seems like maybe I should look into the no running challenge, I guess, because apparently that's something that people are doing for this game. I like these little red jellies. I don't know if they're also supposed to be meat. They're not leaving behind any blood like I am, so I guess they're not meat. What is the lore for this game? I kind of wonder, like, you know, why is there sentient meat? Why is he in love with a bandage? What is Dr. Fetus? I mean, he's a fetus, right? But, like, why? Questions that probably are not answered anywhere in the game. It was really interesting because I feel like at one point Isaac lore started getting more explicit. At one point it was very like, you know, up to interpretation, and there were a bunch of like biblical references, but there was no clear like storyline through Isaac. And now the storyline feels pretty like canonized, and there's little room for interpretation because Edmund Macmillan has gone on Twitter and TikTok and stuff and like explained his intention. And I know, like, death of the author, right? I'm educated. I know that the intention of the author doesn't really matter, and that, like, you know, your interpretation of the text is as valid as theirs is. And I fuck with that, but there's like a huge difference between like the vagueness of the storytelling in like something where you're not really necessarily pardon me, where you're not necessarily supposed to have all the answers laid out for you. There's a big difference in that kind of storytelling, because you kind of like, when you're going for something that the author explicitly was not going for, then you kind of have to acknowledge that, you know, you're not what am I trying to say? You have to kind of acknowledge that your interpretation is just that, an interpretation. It's different from what the work was necessarily trying to say. And yeah, I'll call that the video. I have places to be. See ya.